Hello, welcome back tuning into today's video. Going to have a look at the weather next week to 10 days in today's video, and then we'll have a look at the next month with ZFS V2 model. So quite a lot to cram in. We've got the heat, of course, peaking today. Temperature's going to peak somewhere around 34, possibly 35 degrees today, into the mid-90s Fahrenheit. Very, very hot day indeed. This could well set off thunder later this afternoon, and particularly overnight and into Wednesday. We're going to update Stormwatch this evening. And we'll have a detailed look at the thunder risk when we update Stormwatch this evening. We'll also then be able to tell you what the highest temperature for the day was. So if you're interested in how high this heat peaks, come back to Stormwatch this evening. Now, once this heat goes, it's going to still be hot in the east tomorrow, but it'll gradually clear away through the latter stages of the week. And once it goes, there's no sign of a return to this intensity of heat. But it looks like we're going to stay a bit above average for sort of the next week or so. Certainly into the weekend, temperatures will be a bit above average. So it'll still be warm, possibly very warm in the south, but not this intensity of very hot air that we've got with us right now. We did a video yesterday looking at the week 10-day time frame. We said sort of gently unsettled is like to be the way we go through next week. I think that's still the idea. There is going to be more unsettled conditions in the northwest, the driest in the south and the east. Later on next week, we may see a more general change to unsettled and cooler conditions, but I'll show you all the detail on that in a second. So before I get on with the video, just to say about our charity fundraiser. We're raising money throughout July for the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance. We've had 49 donations so far, which gives us a grand total up to this point of £784.54. So we're closing in on the £800 mark. It would be very nice to get to £800 this week. Our target overall is to get to £1,000. We can get to £1,000 by the end of July. That really would be quite something, and I think everybody would be very, very surprised and very happy with £1,000 as our total. A huge thank you to everybody that's donated so far. If you haven't donated yet, there's two ways of doing it. You can go to our Just Giving page, and this is it. This is the Gavs Weathers Just Giving page, so you know this is the right page because it's got the Gavs Weathers logo. It says Gavin's page, and quite simply, you get to this via the links. I'm going to leave a link in the description box at YouTube. There's also links across Gavs Weathers. So you click the link, you come to this page, and then to donate, you click the yellow donate button, take to another page where you can put in your card details very, very safely, very securely. No problems about that when you donate as much as you like. And that will go straight onto the total. The other way of doing it is to donate via text. So you just use our code, which is GWVS77, and the amount you would like to donate, anything from £1 upwards, and you text that to 770, and quite simply, if you pay as you go, then the money will be taken off your balance. If you paid by a bill, then the money will be added to your bill next time. What actually happens is that the mobile phone companies, so for instance Vodafone, but other mobile phone companies apply, they pay it straight out to the charity, and then they sort of bill you later on. So a huge thank you to everybody for doing this for Gavs Weathers. We're completely free of charge at Gavs Weathers. We have never charged for our updates, and we're not going to either in the future. And I just ask if you enjoy what we do, if you enjoy our videos, our written posts, that you make this small contribution to this charity. That means so much to us. The Air Ambulance, the Warwickshire and Northamptonshire Air Ambulance, and all the other air ambulances throughout the country are totally reliant on charitable donations. They don't receive money from the National Health Service or from general taxation. They are a charity, and they rely on your donations to fly. So a huge thank you to everybody for doing that. Right, just start with the latest observations from XCweather. .co.uk. You can find a link to this website on the links page, and you can see how hot it is across much of England and Wales, we're sort of into the low 30s. Our maximum temperature is 32 degrees so far, 90 Fahrenheit. That's down at Le Havre. So not yet reaching 90 Fahrenheit on the mainland of the UK, but I think temperatures will be going to that sort of level over the next few hours. So London City Airport, for example, is up to 30 degrees. Biggin Hill is up to 28 degrees. London Gatwick up to 29 degrees. Let's try Heathrow, which is one of the hottest places in the country. That's currently up to 30 degrees. So we're somewhere in the upper 20s, low 30s Celsius at the moment. Those temperatures have got several more hours to climb. They'll probably reach their peak around sort of 3-4 o'clock this afternoon, where I suspect at least 34 degrees is certainly possible. And as I say, when we update Stormwatch this evening, we'll be able to tell you what the highest temperature for the day was. So these are the upper air temperatures from the GFS model for the next 2 weeks. This is our heat wave. This is the peak of the heat in the next few hours. This spike just here. After that, you see the temperatures are downhill all the way. So by the time you get through to the end of the week, this is 23rd of July just here, by the time you get through to the end of the week, we're actually close to average. We're close to that red 30-year temperature average. Now, that's still going to be warm, because it's summer, so the average temperature this time of year is still going to be warm, but as you can see, clearly not the level of intense heat that we've got going on today. And we'll keep it pretty hot in the east still, even into tomorrow. After that, well, we just stay close to the 30-year temperature average, really. There's a little bit of a tick up in the temperature again into next week, but nothing as hot as we've got right now, just close to that 30-year temperature average through towards the end of the month. Now, loads of dry weather down in the southeast for the next few days, but storms, as I say, mainly in the north and west. We'll be updating Stormwatch to confirm that this evening. Into next week, it looks like it gradually turns a little bit more unsettled, but even then, it's not a wet ensemble by any means. Just a few more rainfall spikes coming through, but generally you will say fairly dry conditions in the south anyway through towards the end of the month. Now, the temperature anomalies have gone significantly warmer than average. We're not alone. Most of Europe has risen up into warmer than average temperature categories, so we've got those red colours across the UK and many parts of Europe as well for the week from the 19th to 27th of July. Precipitation from the 9th to 27th of July shows that north-south split, so northern and western parts of the country coming out wetter than average, southern and eastern parts of the country coming out drier than average, confirming what we were just talking about. So here's the GFS for Saturday, bringing a westerly into the west of the country. Further east, we're still just about under a little bit of a ridge. Through into Sunday, you can see pressure remains relatively high to the south and the east, so fairly dry and warm there. Always more unsettled close to this area of low pressure up to the north and the west. We go through into next week. You see what happens is that pressure just gradually draining away. It's not a quick switch to an unsettled pattern, but very, very slowly the pressure is sort of draining, it's easing down. So by the time we go through to the second half of next week, we're beginning to move areas of low pressure in off the Atlantic, although excuse me, even at that point we still have a little bit of a ridge down to the south, and the east of the country is definitely turning more unsettled as we get through to the latter stage of next week, and that sort of carries on then in towards the very end of the month. This takes up to the final day of July. ECWF very similar, a bit of a ridge across the country on Saturday, gradually weakens in the north and west on Sunday through into start of next week, although for the south and east we still remain close to that ridge. Through next week it gradually turns more south, so this is Wednesday 27th, when pressure is leaking away across the country. Got an area of low pressure beginning to set itself up, and then we go beyond that in the second half of next week, and looks generally unsettled for the north and west, driest in the south and the east of the country. Notice the wind does go into the north there on Thursday 28th of July. That could bring some significantly cooler air down across the country then. So I think gradually cooling off and slowly turning more unsettled to the northwest. Still a general idea for next week's weather. Finally, have a look at ZSV2 for the coming month. So these are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period is the 19th through 25th of July. So week currently in. And you notice lots of red here around the UK and to the east for Jetstream is doing something a bit like that. So we're on the warm side of the jet. Got high pressure. We're pulling up the air from a southerly southwesterly direction. That's the reason we're having a heat wave. We go through into week 2, which is the 26th through to the 1st of August, 26th of July to the 1st of August, and the heights are pulling out to the west of the country. So they're in the Atlantic, they're going up towards Greenland. It doesn't show a trough over northwest Europe and central Europe, but you would expect there possibly is some sort of trough within the 500 millibar flow. But perhaps more importantly is that the flow would be going into a northerly, northwesterly direction. That would be a lot cooler as we go through into the very end of July, just to the start of August. Week 3, which is the 7th through to the 8th of August, all looks a little bit odd, but we've certainly got some sort of area of above average heights around Greenland and to the north of Scandinavia. So hints of a bit of northern blocking here, and I would have thought that would place a trough underneath it. So that's likely to be cool and unsettled, I think, through to the start of August. And then finally we finish up on week 4, 9th through to the 15th of August. And again, above average heights around Scandinavia, going down into east and northeastern Europe, also a bit in the Atlantic. Presumably, there's some sort of trough between the two just here. So I think that's possibly still quite unsettled with Jetstream doing something a little bit like that. So there's no real sign of a return to the heat wave. We can say that definitively once this intense heat is finished with us. Well, it'll be finished to the north and west today, be finished to the east tomorrow. Once it's gone, there's no sign of a quick return to intense heat, although temperatures will still be warm or even very warm for the rest of this week and into the weekend. But I think the overall message is that we're gradually going to turn it more unsettled through next week. Be a slow old process, but gradually turn more unsettled, and temperatures probably sliding a bit as well. Well, that's all for now. Come back this evening for Stormwatch, where we'll update the latest on thunderstorm risk and also see what the highest temperatures for the day was. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.